Battle Through the Heavens, Episode 184. Xiao Yan unleashes her ultimate move. The dragon-slaying sword descends. One sword shatters the three dragon kings. Xiao Yan breaks through to two-star Dou Sheng, and at the same time, a brutal civil war erupts inside the Taishu ancient dragon tribe. Xiao Yan, bearer of the Dragon Phoenix Constitution, is surrounded by the three dragon kings. Even with her terrifying talent, facing three peak enemies alone is too much. Step by step, she's forced onto the back foot. Then at the most critical moment, Xiao Yan arrives. Before him stand two late-stage three-star Dou Sheng Dragon Kings and the Northern Dragon King, whose strength is already half a step into four-star Dou Sheng, and Xiao Yan, only a late-stage one-star Dou Sheng, yet he doesn't flinch. He instantly realizes Xiao Yan needs 10 minutes to complete a killing move. Without hesitation, he steps forward alone to stop them. The three Dragon Kings sneer. To them, Xiao Yan is nothing more than a nuisance. They're wrong. Xiao Yan unleashes a high-level heavenly rank soul, Dou Technique, Yellow Spring's Heavenly Fury. A soul-shredding sonic wave tears straight through them, striking the ancient dragon tribe's rare weakness, their souls, not their bodies. The three Dragon Kings are caught completely off guard, their souls are injured, and they spit blood in furious shock. Xiao Yan doesn't give them a breath. His killing moves chain together like a storm. While the Dragon Kings are still reeling, his flame infant clone silently completes a five-colored Buddha's Wrath Flame Lotus, and it appears behind them without warning. Boom! The lotus detonates in a violent inferno, buying Xiao Yan priceless time. But Xiao Yan isn't unscathed, repeatedly casting Yellow Spring's Heavenly Fury and simultaneously condensing the terrifying five-colored Flame Lotus, puts a crushing strain on his body and soul. He's betting everything on one idea. Even a three-star Dou Sheng, if hit completely unguarded, should be crippled. Yet the Taishu ancient dragon's bodies are tougher than he imagined. From the heart of the raging flame storm, violent tremors explode outward. Amid maddened dragon roars, three colossal silhouettes tear free three ancient dragons, vast enough to blot out the sky. The three dragon kings in their true forms. They look utterly wrecked, bone-deep gashes, shattered scales peeling away, blood pouring like waterfalls. Alive but heavily wounded, humiliation crushes them. To be injured this badly by a junior ant is a disgrace they cannot endure. They roar and strike, sealing the battlefield with devastating beams, cutting off every route of escape. Xiao Yan has nowhere to dodge. He can only meet them head-on. He drives the heavenly flames within him into a massive flaming disc, Buddha's Wrath Reincarnation, the technique he comprehended after stepping into Dou Sheng. The beams smash into the disc and are reflected back with brutal force. But the price is steep. The backlash shakes him violently. Xiao Yan coughs blood again and again, his body thrown thousands of meters through the air. And the rebounded beams slam into the Dragon Kings, worsening their already catastrophic wounds. That is the last straw. The three Dragon Kings' eyes turn savage, pure killing intent. Xiao Yan wipes the blood at his lip, forcing down the dizziness and soul-numbing pain. He forms seals again, recklessly casting Yellow Spring's Heavenly Fury a second time. A terrifying soul shockwave erupts. Even their massive dragon bodies stiffen, their blood-red pupils dim. But the Northern Dragon King recovers first. In an instant, he shifts into human form, appearing beside Xiao Yan like a ghost. A crushing blow lands. Xiao Yan spits a mouthful of blood, his chest visibly caving in. Yet instead of retreating, he grins with a ferocious, near-mad resolve. He condenses a four-colored flame lotus in his palm and slams it into the Northern Dragon King at point-blank range. The explosion hurls the Northern Dragon King back in a spray of blood. A brutal exchange, whoever endures longer survives. Xiao Yan's body is now nearly broken, barely able to move. And then the Southern and Western Dragon Kings charge in madness incarnate. The Southern Dragon King raises his massive head and brings it down, ready to crush Xiao Yan beneath his claws. Death is right there. Xiao Yan's body trembles, and in that instant his heart pounds like thunder. A long-dormant, mysterious power awakens, flooding his body. Exhausted Dou Qi refills in a breath even stronger than his peak. Before he can process it, a blinding golden streak flashes past. The Southern Dragon King's enormous dragon arm is severed cleanly at the root. From the void, a slender figure steps forward, purple hair flowing. Xiao Yan. Her preparation is complete. A pressure so overwhelming it makes even Xiao Yan's heart shake, spreads from her like a silent decree. In her hand is a long sword, seemingly forged from flowing golden liquid. Her voice is cold, carrying absolute authority. You dare touch him. This emperor will cast you into the dragon prison forever. The southern dragon king stares at his missing arm, mind blank. That arm's defense was monstrous, even a 5-star Dou Sheng would struggle to cut it. He looks at the golden sword and screams in terror. The dragon-slaying sword. You can actually summon the dragon-slaying sword. That cry detonates across the battlefield. Every ancient dragon goes pale. The dragon-slaying sword is the tribe's supreme legendary technique, wielded only by the purest dragon emperor bloodline. It carries absolute suppression over all ancient dragons, famed as slaying dragons like slaughtering chickens. Even the previous old dragon emperor could barely summon it only after reaching 6-star Dou Sheng. Yet Xian is merely early 4-star Dou Sheng. Panic erupts. The western and southern dragon kings turn and flee. Xian's gaze remains icy. She casually swings her sword toward the western dragon king. A strange fluctuation slices through the air. He throws up every defense, covering himself in the hardest dragon scales. But before the dragon-slaying sword, defenses mean nothing. The fluctuation passes. A massive diagonal wound tears from his shoulder to his waist. He's critically wounded, teetering on death. The southern dragon king flees even faster. Yan raises her sword again, ready to execute both traitors. But Xiao Yan notices something that chills him. A thin strand of Yan's purple hair quietly turns ashen white. He understands at once. Summoning and wielding the dragon-slaying sword is consuming Yan's life force. Cornered, the southern and western dragon kings spit out their precious essence blood, forming a massive golden bell as a final defense. Yan's sword fluctuation strikes. The bell holds for a heartbeat, then shatters violently. The remaining wave sweeps through, severing one leg from each of them. Now they're nothing but crippled, gravely wounded dragon kings. Yan sneers, lifting her sword for the final blow. But the moment she raises it, her body trembles violently. She coughs up dark gold blood, her face turning deathly pale. She has pushed beyond her limit. And then, the northern dragon king who had vanished reappears like a ghost. He seizes the southern and western dragon kings and tears open the void, escaping instantly. Even so, the residual sword fluctuation still chases them. Distant, miserable screams echo through the darkness. With the 3 dragon kings defeated and fleeing, the elite forces of the 3 dragon islands lose their will to fight and scatter in panic. When the battle ends, the murderous aura in the void lingers. Yan stands with the dragon-slaying sword in hand, purple eyes cold and unwavering, staring into the direction the traitors escaped. Only when their auras faded, completely vanishing beyond her perception, did the dragon-slaying sword in Yan's hand begin to tremble. A faint ripple spread across its golden blade, and then it dissolved into nothingness. The instant the sword disappeared, the weakness and backlash she had been forcibly suppressing erupted like a dam breaking. Yan spat out a mouthful of blood and collapsed backward. Xiao Yan, who had been watching her without blinking, jolted in alarm and lunged forward, catching her in his arms. Staring at the pale, lifeless face pressed against his chest, a sharp ache stabbed through Xiao Yan's heart. He understood too well, summoning and wielding the legendary dragon-slaying sword consumed far more than mere do qi. It demanded something deeper, something fundamental, something precious beyond measure. And Xiao Yan's own condition was no better. Multiple meridians had been torn, his internal organs rattled by violent backlash. Holding Yan tightly, he sank down in the void, sitting heavily as if his body might shatter if he moved. At this moment, both of them were already at their limits. Xiao Yan produced a healing pill and gently brought it to Yan's lips, just as he once coaxed that gluttonous little girl from the past. Not long after, the great elder of Eastern Dragon Island and the others arrived in a rush. Yan struggled to straighten herself from Xiao Yan's embrace. A trace of authoritative crimson returned to her pallid face. With a calm tone that allowed no doubt, she asked about the aftermath. The great elder reported respectfully the invaders from the 3 dragon islands had been routed. Yet many ordinary warriors from those islands had chosen to stay behind, willing to submit to the true dragon emperor. Yan ordered that these surrendered forces be temporarily incorporated. When the great elder cautiously asked about the next step regarding the 3 dragon kings, A cold glint flashed in Xian's eyes. She stated that the western and southern dragon kings had been grievously wounded by the dragon-slaying sword. Even if they recovered, their strength would be drastically reduced. With only the northern dragon king left, they would no longer pose a serious threat. Once Eastern Dragon Island completed a short period of recuperation, they could launch a counter-offensive and finish the unification of the ancient dragon tribe. The decisiveness in her words made even Xiao Yan, listening from the side, secretly marvel. That little girl from the past had become a dragon emperor, sharp, resolute, and ruthless when it mattered. Xiao Yan sighed under the weight carried by the title Dragon Emperor. He admitted frankly that he missed the old Xian, more the carefree girl who used to cling to him, pestering him for pills. Xian shot him an annoyed look, then inched closer, a familiar sly smile curling at her lips. She teased that Xiao Yan hadn't been like this before. His eyes used to wander toward Sister Medusa Kai Lin all the time. Exposed so cleanly, Xiao Yan's face flushed red. Xian's expression then turned serious. She thanked him sincerely for saving her life. Xiao Yan waved it off with words, but the devastation in his meridians was silent proof of just how brutal the battle had been. After the war, Eastern Dragon Island lay in ruins, and Xiao Yan's injuries had reached an extreme. He immediately chose a secret chamber and entered closed-door cultivation to heal. What he didn't expect was that during this deep seclusion, the bloodline power long dormant within his heart, formed from the fusion of multiple bloodlines, would surge forth on its own. It began to automatically repair and cleanse his battered body. That blood contained an inconceivable power. Not only did it heal him at an astonishing speed, it also subtly tempered his flesh and meridians, reforging him like steel in a furnace. Xiao Yan gradually sank into a mysterious sleep-like state, allowing the bloodline power to reshape him completely. Time flowed in silence. This closed-door cultivation lasted a full 100 days. On the 100th day, dramatic changes shook both the secret chamber and the world outside. Vast amounts of energy gathered into a colossal vortex, pouring down and surging into Xiao Yan's body. The disturbance alarmed everyone on Eastern Dragon Island. Ziyan, Little Doctor, Fairy Qinglin, and even Yao Ming, clan leader of the 9 Nether Earth Serpent clan, rushed over at once. They sensed that terrifying aura rising steadily, their expressions a mix of shock and joy. In the end, all that energy was devoured by Xiao Yan in a single breath. An aura far more vast than before, like an awakened giant dragon, erupted violently from his body. After 100 days of tempering turning disaster into fortune, Xiao Yan not only fully recovered, his cultivation also surged forward in one leap, breaking through to 2-star Dou Sheng. Even his physical body had reached a level comparable to an ancient dragon. And the moment Xiao Yan emerged from seclusion, Little Dr. Fairy delivered urgent news from the Falling Star Pavilion. The purifying demonic lotus flame was about to emerge. Meanwhile, Soul Hall had begun moving frequently, its intentions obvious. They meant to seize it. Worse still, Soul Hall and its affiliated forces had been continuously attacking cities under the Tianfu Alliance, stretching the alliance thin and damaging its reputation. The situation was urgent. Xiao Yan decided immediately they would return to Central Plains Zhongzhou at once. Upon hearing this, Ziyan insisted on coming, too determined to help him claim the purifying demonic lotus flame. She entrusted Eastern Dragon Island's affairs to the elders, ignoring their concerns. Instead, she prepared to depart with unmistakable excitement, as if leaving Dragon Island were a rare chance to finally stretch her wings. Through a spatial gateway, the group returned swiftly to the Central Plains, entering Alliance territory. Along the way, many cities bore scars of war and devastation. Xiao Yan's brows tightened, and his hatred for Soul Hall grew heavier with every passing ruin. Soon they arrived at the Falling Star Pavilion. Inside a grand central hall, Yao Lao Huo Yun ancestor and other core figures were gathered. Every face was grim. The air itself felt heavy. Yao Lao spoke, recounting the grim developments. Out of more than 300 key cities under the Tianfu Alliance, nearly half had suffered attacks. On the surface, the assaults seemed to come from different forces, but deeper investigation revealed the same shadow behind each incident. Soul Hall experts operating in secret. The Pill Tower had sent similar reports. Recently, attacks against alchemists had become increasingly frequent. Many disappeared after suffering misfortune, vanishing without a trace. Though the mastermind had never revealed itself openly, Everyone understood this was undoubtedly Soul Hall's work. Huoyun ancestor erupted in fury, harshly condemning Soul Hall for growing ever more unscrupulous. Even the usually calm Great Elder of the Pill Tower nodded grimly in agreement. Soul Hall's insidious methods were infuriating beyond words. Yao Lao continued. Fortunately, the Alliance had prepared ahead of time, forming dedicated patrol teams that repeatedly averted danger and prevented many losses. But outside rumors were spreading fast, and they were poisonous. People claimed Soul Hall was running circles around the Tianfu Alliance. Some neutral forces that had intended to join the Alliance began to hesitate after witnessing Soul Hall's ruthless tactics. If this continued, the Alliance's reputation and influence would suffer severe damage. A sharp glint flashed through Yao Lao's eyes as he proposed a bold plan. If Soul Hall was striking their cities, then the Alliance should strike back, directly attacking Soul Hall's branch halls, returning blow for blow. The hall fell into stunned silence. The Tianfu Alliance was no longer weak, but compared to Soul Hall's deep foundations, there was still a gap. Just as everyone weighed the danger, a clear laugh echoed through the hall. Several figures appeared in the next instant. Xiao Yan and his group returning from their journey. The moment they saw him, the crowd's expressions brightened. Huoyun ancestor stepped forward to greet him, then suddenly froze, sensing the change in Xiao Yan's aura. He asked in disbelief. The Great Elder of the Pill Tower also probed carefully, then let out a bitter smile. In just half a year, Xiao Yan had advanced from early 1-star Dou Sheng straight to 2-star Dou Sheng. That speed was simply terrifying. Even Yao Lao was shocked. He hadn't expected such a leap, but he quickly composed himself and smiled in relief. Then his gaze shifted to Ziyan beside Xiao Yan, and his expression instantly turned solemn. Though Yao Lao was only a high-level semi-saint, his soul power was extraordinarily strong. He could clearly sense it. The unfathomable pressure radiating from Ziyan had already reached 4-star Dou Sheng.